Welcome back, you guys, to another JZFishing video, and in today's video I'm going to be debunking why you're not catching any rainbow trout on lures. Let's get into it. It is currently the middle of December here in the Bay Area, and right now the biggest fish biting are rainbow trout. And these are all stocked rainbow trout. I want to mention that before I get too far into today's video. And they're planted all along California. And here in the Bay Area, we're lucky to have a ton of really cool lakes that have a pretty healthy supply of these rainbow trout. And what's actually really cool is the California DFG is able to plant not only like the wild, like the actual wild trout, they're able to stock lightning trout as well as like your standard 11, 12, 13 inch DFG planter fish. So today I'm going to be talking about 5 lures, and if you stick around to the end, I'm going to talk about a very secret strategy that not many people use and not many people know about, and it catches me a ton of trout, especially some of those bigger lightning trout and naturals. So, you know, I don't want to do too much talking today, but with that being said, I'm going to get right into today's video. And also midway through today's video, I'm going to talk about a really cool tournament that this YouTube channel is going to be hosting here in January. All right, so starting off today's list, we're going to start with this Panthera martin. This is one of the most common lures. We're going to crack this thing open. This is literally just probably one of the most simple fishing lures you can buy, not only for trout, but just for any species in general. And it's just because it's a blade and a hook. And these are really simple to fish. Great if you're just trying to get out of the water for your first couple of times. This is definitely what I would suggest. I really love this smaller size. So that's kind of what it looks like there. I hope you guys can kind of see that. But pretty much you just kind of cast it and retrieve it in the water. You don't have to jerk your rod at all, even though sometimes that might help. And as you can tell, it's got this little blade here that spins in circles when you reel it in. And then it's got this tiny little treble here in the back. And I really like this like black and yellow pattern. That really does a lot of good for me. But like I said, this is a great lure if you're just starting out for trout fishing, or you're fishing a new lake for the first time and you don't know what they bite on. Right, lure number 3 on today's list is the Castmater spoon. These are quite popular and they come in a variety of different shapes, sizes, and colors. Typically, I really like this like blue, white, pink color. I'll crack it open for you guys. This specific one is a 1/8 ounce. I really like the 1/8 ounce because it's quite versatile. You can catch big ones and small ones on it. But like I said, if you know that your pond or your lake that you're fishing, or even river, has a bunch of tiny fish in it, you could downsize. But if you know that there are some bigger ones that will specifically eat bigger lures, then I would always go up in size. One thing to always keep in mind is the heavier the spoon or the lure, the farther you'll get out as a cast. But that is kind of what it looks like there. And these lures are quite aerodynamic. So if it's very windy or you're having trouble casting, this is what I would tie on. It has a very cool action. It kind of wobbles around. These typically you might need to fish a little bit at a faster speed, but still a very good lure. So just a quick recap, this is something that I would throw if you're just at a pond and it's your first time doing it and it's a little bit windy or you're having a tough time casting. And if you're at a new pond or river, but there's not much wind or there's not much trouble casting, then I would throw this. So that's 2 lures down. Let's go and get our third one here. Our third lure today is going to be this Rapala sinking jerkbait. And jerkbaits are the third lure on today's list because I would not consider a jerkbait a great beginner lure. Jerkbaits can produce some massive trout, and I mean massive. But they take some time, they take some effort, and they can be kind of hard to fish sometimes because it takes a little bit of some working to do with the rod to catch fish on them. They look really cool. They're supposed to imitate like a small bait fish, right? So if your trout are feasting on small bait fish, this is a great lure to fish. This specific one is made out of balsa wood. I really like the ones that are made of balsa. I feel like they're higher quality. But pretty much this fish, or this kind of lure, swims like that in the water, and it's called a jerkbait because to fish these, you kind of reel your rod and every so often jerk it like this, Hopefully I'll throw up a clip. But these are very productive on these bigger trout. The lightnings love this. If you're ever trolling from a boat, I love fishing the jerkbait. So that's lure number 3. Moving on to lure number 4. So this is a bit of a funky one. These are the power bait mice tail or mouse tails. And these can be used as bait, which means that they can sit in the water and then they can just kind of be fished without having to move the rod or move the bait at all. They can just sit on the bottom and they can catch fish. But I really love tying these on a hook on a big old drop shot rig or a Carolina rig, and I just kind of cast it out, especially if the trout are in deep water or if the bite's been pretty slow. I just let these kind of sink to the bottom, and every 2 or 3 seconds kind of pop it up off the bottom. Give it a little bit of fluttering action on the way down. These things will kill the fish. And like I said, if you're feeling a little lazy, you can always just cast them out there and let them sit, and they'll still catch a fish. I really like this color here. It just depends on the lake you're fishing. They have some brighter colors, they have some darker colors. I really like this one. And what's cool about this bag is it's actually reusable, so you can kind of open it up and close it back up again. Our final lure on today's list, this is not a perfect representation, but it's a rooster tail. It's kind of similar to the first lure that we tied on. Usually they have these little feathers that come out of the bottom here by the treble hook. This is typically a bigger presentation, so if you're going for bigger fish, this is what I would suggest. One also very interesting thing about rooster tails is when you're fishing these, especially in bigger lakes or bigger bodies of water where there are other species of fish, you'll catch a bunch of different things as well. Smallmouth love these things. Any largemouth love these things. Salmon, steelhead, if you have those wherever you're fishing, will love these things. These things pretty much slay anything. But yeah, these are very productive. Like I said though, it's much bigger, so you gotta be fishing a bigger body of water with bigger fish, but very productive. I love trolling these around, especially behind my boat or my kayak. I've found that those are very productive, especially when hunting out for those big fish. Really quickly, before I move on to the 5th secret strategy / kind of lure, I'm gonna do a quick recap of all 5 of these, and then we'll get wrapped up today. All right, this first lure we talked about was this tiny little spinner. Number 2 was the Castmaster spoon. Number 3 was the Rapala jerkbait. Number 4 was the power bait mouse tails, and number 5 was this little rooster tail kind of thingy. And that was the 5 lures. Real quick, if you guys are adamant trout fishermen and you live in the Bay Area, I've got some news for you. We are hosting the first JZFishing trout tournament at Horseshoe Lake in, I think it's in Oakland. But yeah, it's at Horseshoe Lake. And if you guys want to sign up, the link is going to be in the description box below. I'm blanking on the dates, but all the information will be in the description box below. There should be a link if you guys want to check that out. What's really cool about this tournament that we've never done before is because the lake that we're going at has the ability to take out boats, we're going to have a boat bracket and a shore bracket. And then we're going to have a grand total winner, of course. Tons of prizes. I believe it's a $20 buy-in, I think. Tons of really cool prizes. It's gonna be great. You're gonna meet a ton of really cool people. It should be a great time. I'm really happy to see and meet a lot of you guys because without you guys, this whole channel is not possible at all. So I'm really psyched for it. It should be a great time. It's early January, I know. I think it might be January 7th, if I'm not wrong. But like I said, link in the description box below. And with that being said, let's kind of talk about that little secret trick that I was talking about before. The secret trick that I was talking about is scent, fishing scent. I hope you guys can see that. Fishing scent is an absolute game changer. This stuff specifically, this bang stuff, I really like the shrimp. For whatever reason, the shrimp with the trout, they absolutely kill it. I don't know why, but I really like it. I like it in saltwater as well, but these spray scents, I can just kind of spray it on the lure real quick. I don't have to get my hands all messy. It just works so freaking well. And out of all the scent companies, I really just Bang has been my favorite so far. So I would highly suggest whenever you're using any of these lures, give them a quick spray with a Bang. You won't regret it, especially when the bite is slow. You never know, you might just need to switch out that one thing, and that one thing is most likely the scent of that bait, because trout can be kind of finicky sometimes. So, with that being said, if If you want to see us institute these strategies and these techniques and catch these stalker trout, click the video that's showing up on the screen right now. It's a really, really cool day. We went out, caught a ton of trout at Lake Bontempe.